Two young people, born the same year, both in 2005. Both heirs to thrones that have stood for centuries. Both currently in uniform. Both being prepared, publicly and deliberately, for the moment they inherit everything built around them since the day they were born. By every surface measurement, Princess Leonor of Spain and Crown Prince Christian of Denmark are on almost identical trajectories. Same generation, same approximate timeline, same institutional logic driving their preparation. But spend 30 minutes actually comparing what each of them has done, what each is doing right now, and what each of their countries is building toward, and the surface similarity starts to dissolve entirely. Because these two young people are being prepared by two completely different philosophies. And what those differences reveal about how Spain and Denmark each understand the future of their monarchy is the most interesting story in European royal politics right now. This video is not going to tell you that one of them is a better person than the other. The comparison that matters is between the institutions building them, and what their different choices say about what it actually takes to be ready to lead in the world these two young people are about to inherit. Start with the basics. Leonor was born on October 31, 2005. Christian was born October 15, 2005. 2 weeks apart in age. Direct peers in every sense. Both spent significant portions of their secondary education at schools that broke with royal tradition, Leonor at UWC Atlantic College in Wales, Christian at Ordrup Gymnasium in Copenhagen, a public state school where he became the first Danish heir to attend a non-private secondary institution. Both graduated and went into military service as their next formal step. At that point, the timelines diverge, and the divergence is enormous. When Leonor finished her international baccalaureate in 2023, she went directly into the General Military Academy in Zaragoza. Not a gap year, not a gradual transition, a government-approved royal decree outlining a 3-year program across all 3 branches of the Spanish Armed Forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force, consecutively, under the same standards as any other cadet, with no adjusted criteria and no private track. By the time that program ended in summer 2026, she had completed a solo military flight, a night parachute jump, a transoceanic voyage on a working tall ship, and live field exercises in rough terrain. 3 years, 3 branches, 1 continuous, comprehensive program with a defined constitutional purpose, preparing the future commander-in-chief of Spain's armed forces. When Christian finished high school in June 2024, he went to East Africa for 3 months, working on farms, engaging with conservation projects. A deliberate gap year echoing a long Danish royal tradition. Then in February 2025, he arrived at the Antivorskov barracks and began 4 months of basic military service with the Guard Hussar Regiment. By May 2025 he had earned his Rex badge, becoming a Guards Hussar. In August 2025 he started a 1-year lieutenant's training course, followed by a platoon commander role starting August 2026. No university plans have been publicly announced. So by the end of 2026, the comparison looks like this. Leonor, 3 years of military training across all 3 branches, solo flight, night parachute jump, government-approved royal decree, confirmed political science degree at Carlos III University starting September 2026. Christian, approximately 2 years of Army training, lieutenant qualification, platoon commander role, next chapter still unannounced. One is deeper, broader, more comprehensive, and followed immediately by an academically rigorous 4-year degree. Directly relevant to her constitutional role. That comparison is the one most people make when they put these two side by side. But here's where the story gets genuinely complicated, because if you only look at the training records, you miss the thing Christian has that Leonor doesn't. And it's arguably more constitutionally significant than anything either of them did in uniform. Christian has served as regent of Denmark multiple times. Not ceremonially, not symbolically, constitutionally, legally, actually, as head of state, with full powers to sign laws, preside over the Council of State, and represent the Danish state in any function the king is constitutionally required to perform. The first time happened in early 2024, just 2 weeks after his father ascended the throne, when Frederick went on an official visit to Poland. Christian, still a high school student, became acting head of state of Denmark. He has done it multiple times since, during his parents' state visit to the Baltic states in January 2026, during various other trips abroad. On one occasion he prepared official documents for signature from the military barracks in Slagels, pausing his training exercises to sign state legislation. Think about that. A 19-year-old in camouflage fatigues, sitting at a desk in a military barracks, signing laws on behalf of the Danish state. Not a simulation. The actual constitutional act, with actual legal force. Leonor has not done this. Spain's constitution doesn't trigger the same automatic regent mechanism when the king travels abroad. Leonor has taken on significant institutional duties, presiding over the Princess of Asturias Awards, attending state ceremonies, accompanying her father on official engagements, but she has not signed a law. She has not presided over a council of state. She has not exercised the powers of head of state in any formally binding sense. So here is the real question at the center of this video: what does "ready" actually mean for a future monarch, and do Leonor and Christian represent two different, genuinely legitimate answers? Spain's answer is that readiness means depth of training, breadth of institutional understanding, and demonstrated competence the public can observe and verify over time. You make the air go through things that are genuinely hard. You make those things visible. You build public trust incrementally, milestone by milestone, so that by the time she takes the crown, nobody can question whether she earned it. The training is the argument. The process is the proof. Denmark's answer is that readiness means constitutional integration. You give the heir the actual powers of head of state, in real situations, with real consequences, as early as legally possible. You don't simulate the role, you put the person in it, briefly and incrementally, while their parent is still doing the heavy lifting. The regency isn't preparation for constitutional responsibility. It is constitutional responsibility, practiced in small doses. Both of those answers are defensible. Both have real merit. And neither monarchy has adopted the other's model, they've each doubled down on their own logic. Spain has gone deeper and deeper on the training side. Denmark has gone earlier and earlier on the constitutional integration side. What makes this comparison significant right now is that both models are being tested against the same underlying challenge: the erosion of automatic public trust in institutions that was, for most of the 20th century, the invisible foundation every European monarchy built on. The Andrew scandal, the Met Marit revelations, the Juan Carlos exile, the Norwegian criminal trial, each of these has chipped away at the assumption that royal status and royal preparation are the same thing. They are not. And both Spain and Denmark have understood that the response has to be visible and verifiable, not just claimed. They've simply chosen to demonstrate it in different arenas. Spain through military depth and academic groundedness. Denmark through constitutional integration and early executive experience. And the result is two heirs who are each genuinely impressive, each genuinely prepared, but prepared for different versions of the same role. Going into autumn 2026, Leonor begins her political science degree at Carlos III alongside ordinary undergraduates, commuting from Zarzuela every morning, building relationships with the people who will staff Spain's institutions for the next generation. Her public profile going into this phase is the highest of any heir in Europe. 3 years of military milestones have built her into something close to a genuine public phenomenon, covered intensively by Spanish and international media, each milestone adding to a cumulative, building narrative of earned readiness. Christian completes his lieutenant training in June, moves to the platoon commander role in August, and continues the quieter, more constitutionally grounded path Denmark has set for him. His profile is strong but more contained, built around moments, the regent signings, the barracks photographs, rather than a sustained public narrative. Different communications strategy, different institutional philosophy, same underlying ambition, a monarch the public trusts before they're ever tested. So which one is truly ready? Here is the honest verdict: it depends entirely on what you think a future monarch most needs to be ready for. If the greatest challenge facing European monarchies is the erosion of public trust, institutions perceived as distant, unearned, and unaccountable, then Spain's model is the most sophisticated response currently operating on the continent. Leonor is ready in that specific sense better than almost any heir in European history. If the greatest challenge is constitutional relevance, Monarchies that exist in legal form but have let the actual exercise of sovereign powers atrophy into ceremony, then Denmark's model has something Leonor doesn't. Christian has already held the powers of head of state. He has already signed laws. He is ready in that specific sense in a way Leonor, for all the rigor of her training, is not yet. The answer Europe's other monarchies are watching for is not which of these two young people is the better individual. Both are doing extraordinary things. The answer they're watching for is which model produces the monarch most capable of keeping their institution alive and relevant across the next 50 years. And that question doesn't have a definitive answer yet. What we know is that the old answer, that heirs were ready simply by virtue of being born, is no longer sufficient. Both Spain and Denmark have understood that. They've built two different, serious, genuine responses to the same challenge. And Europe is watching both of them, because whoever gets this right will have built a template the rest of the continent's surviving monarchies will be studying for a very long time. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter, because both of them are just getting started.